Hello everybody and welcome back to Ethlor Plays Go. Today we have another review that I'm doing for the people at my Go Club. So today we'll be looking at 2 games from AJ and 1 game from Horace. So yeah, luckily I've been playing AJ on 9 stones and it seems that he's improving. He's beaten me 3 times in a row, which means that he finally goes up to 8 stones again. So I think we used to play on 7 stones or something, so I think that yeah, 9 stones I think is due to a bit of a slump, and I hope that through these reviews you regain some of the strength. And it seems that so good is happening. Whatever that sentence is, we'll just go on to the review. So I guess we start normally with this move, and AJ goes for the pincer, and then I attach. I think the idea is that I'm trying to play more normally and that kind of thing, but maybe on a 9 stone handicap game, you can't be quite so normal. In any case, AJ goes for the Atari, connect, and then here, which is, I guess is okay, but I guess what you could do is you could play over here, and then if white plays this way, then you can play this peep, and now the idea is that white isn't alive, so maybe you can play, I hope this is strong enough shape, or maybe just come back over here to recreate the Joseki. But the idea is that if white tries to bake 2 eyes here, then it won't be possible. You can even just not, because then you can just remove 2 eyes. So this is the idea. So this way you can destabilize white. To be fair, letting white live in the corner and taking the outside is fine as well, so I'll allow that. But I think the mistake here is that white tries to capture this stone, whereas playing from this side is more important. The reason why is because then white is sealed into the corner. Whereas in this, if black tries to capture this 1 stone, then white is not sealed into the corner, so they're not surrounded, which is not what you're hoping for. And then what was the value of the stone here that you captured? This isn't the most important stone for white because it doesn't help them to live, so why go after it? So that's basically the issue. If black had a move at A, yes at A, then basically what black can do is try descending and then do this to Suji. Basically the idea is that if you have A on the board, then white can't play here because they're automatically captured. And so yeah, but you can't really play that now. And so if you play over here, then white captures, and the idea is that white can get this in endgame later, which you want to prevent. So then you can just make this tiger's mouth, play the ko, probably not. So yeah, make tiger's mouth. So this is the idea. So here, okay, white is trying to invade again because I guess the idea is I have some strength over here, so maybe I can try and isolate the stone or something. Black makes a base. It's perhaps a bit timid, but at 9 stones I'll allow it. And I'm not sure why this happens. I find that the players from my club really enjoy playing this armpit hit. Technically, this is like the opposite of like a shoulder hit, where you hit the shoulder of the stone, where instead you're hitting the armpit of the stone, and then white comes down here. I guess if you do like Tawari analysis, it's not so bad, because you can imagine that you can imagine 1 and 2, and then black plays away, and then 3. So, is that so bad? No, that's something you can do. So it's not bad in this case, I would say, but it's a bit unorthodox. Normally you don't, I think in the pre-AI era, you wouldn't really allow this as much, because then you're pushing from behind basically, and white gets very easily into the center and all of this. So that's why with pre-AI theory, you wouldn't really allow it. Black goes for the splitting move, which is great, and I'm at a huge loss for what to play, so I try and move out, and then black goes for the surround, which is also wonderful, and then I play outside, and then there's this move, which is also okay, I think, because you're removing any possibility for white to make a base, which is fine, and white moves out, and then you play this one. I guess, yeah, I can allow that as well, because otherwise maybe this group gets weak, so fine. And then I once again try and make another group, and there's this shoulder hit. I guess what I would say is I'm not sure if I would really go for the shoulder hit as black on a 9-stone handicap. I would just recommend to play, just either here or, kick and jump as a normal variation. You can attach, you can pincer. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's so many variations that you can choose here that are simpler for you to handle. and this allows white to get some complications without much gain, it seems. So this is what I would try and avoid. But at the same time, it's not a mistake, I think. So, but that's just my recommendation. So I try to stand, and I expect the black will try and hane, and then I can go for the cuts, which is what I'm going for. But instead, black tanukis to play this exchange and then this exchange. And I guess my question is, I mean, here it looks like black's shape is broken, so that's technically not so great. I think the other thing as well that I've been learning, and that I'll reveal to you all now, is I've been learning about the rule of 5. So the idea is that with the rule of 5, that if you have a group of stones, so like a chain of stones like this, then if you have 5 liberties, then that's okay. So maybe here, this is okay, but if I remove these, and I remove these markers, then we have this stone over here with 2 liberties, and then we have this one over here with 3 liberties. So I guess what I mean to say to black is you don't need to try so hard to remove white's eye shape. I mean, you can, but I think just, at 9 stones, just focus on making your own stones strong. So here, instead of playing these exchanges, you can just continue. Like, even if technically you should really just hane, because if you just stand, that's a bit passive, but fine. At least, white is weak all over the board. So if you just keep white separated, and that's good enough. But yeah, so we make this exchange and this exchange, and then this exchange, which I also think is slightly good for white because there's now a little bit more eye shape possibility. I guess black has this forcing move, but I'd say that it's slightly more comfortable for white. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these exchanges. So don't exchange moves just because. Make sure you know what you're getting for them. And if you're trying to remove things like eye shape, then there are moves like this which more effectively try and cut the shape. So that's what I would recommend basically. So okay, we have up to here, and we even not this exchange, and then black jumps. So once again, I would recommend I'd pay attention to this rule of 5. It's not something that you want to think about in every case, but here you have this group with 4 liberties. So this group is a little bit less stable. It doesn't mean that anything bad is going to happen right away, but here, just be conscious of that. You've made a decision here to move a little bit faster, and what do you gain for being a little bit faster? Okay, fine, maybe keep white under attack, but if you had played another move, say you play, and once again, I'm not such a huge fan, but even if you play a little bit slower, I think maybe this, yeah, once again, don't make the exchanges, but here, the idea is that you don't need to move so quickly. How do I say? You will start killing groups when you'll start killing groups when you're strong, basically, and your opponent will just die and be weak on their own. It's a key principle of Go that being strong reveals your opponent's weaknesses. And sure, you don't want to be such that you want to be adding to your strength when it's not necessary, but at the same time, you need to have that base of strength first before you make that decision. So this is why, so here, this jump, it's not bad, but it's just something you should keep in mind. So okay, I take this Atari and I try, and because I'm thinking if I connect here, then I'm still separated, and if I come up this way, there's cut over here and over here. So basically, this is probably the wrong idea from white, where I'm trying to get a little bit more, and that's not ideal. As white, I'll probably get punished too quickly, and it's probably why I lose this game. So here, black plays this bamboo joint, which is great. I love that. And then I play this trumpet shape, or the lion's mouth. Lion's mouth because it has 2 tiger's mouths. And if you have something that's bigger than a tiger, then it must be a lion, right? So yeah, lion's mouth, I think, if I remember the shape correctly. So I guess here it points out this shape, which was well recognized, where A is the vital point, so that's very good. So then black gets this cut, and that's really wonderful. So I think, so what makes this cut so good is that white is weak on both sides, and black didn't have to make bad shape in order to do it. They just saw, hey, white has this weakness, and they cut through, which is great. That's different from what's happening here, which is not, oh, white has a weakness, so let's play it. It's more like, let's just make these exchanges because we can. At least that's my read on it, at least. So, okay, we make this cut, and I need to do something. So what I think I recommend is just play solidly. Once again, as black, you don't need to be fancy in a 9-stone handicap game. Just find a simple response and keep good shape. And if you can do that, then white will just flounder and die on their own. So instead, black plays a Atari and then stands up and then plays this peep and then plays this extension. I think it's all okay until the extension. So here, just once again, keep distance. You don't have to kill white by strangling them. You know, create a net. I think, like, what does Inseong say? He says to have a fish tank, and you want to have like an aquarium. And instead of trying to go and strangle the shark, keep him in your aquarium, and then you can watch it swim around, and that's nice. So this is the idea. And remember, you don't have to kill white. White will probably die if you play solidly enough. But on the other hand, look at what's happening on the outside. Black has all of these stones. So even if white lives, black's profit is immense. So just play solid shape. And this is broken shape, which is the opposite of solid shape. You allow me to cut through you. And notice that by doing that, this stone now has 2 liberties. Once again, we're thinking about our rule of 5. And this one has 3. So, I guess this one has 4, but this one also has 3. So you can see here that black shape is not great. And that's not what you want in a handicap game. You want to have strong shape. So play that instead. So, okay, we have this turn. And then here I'm going to try and make use of this shortage of liberties on the outside. And I play this Hane. But unfortunately, white is just too thin. So I'm trying, although it's admirable that I'm trying to make something work, I think the problem with white in this game is I'm trying too hard to force it. And the game ends too quickly because of that. I guess what I should focus more on as white in a handicap game is that you want the game to be long. And yeah, you want to choose when you add pressure to black, but here I'm choosing to add that pressure too quickly. So I need to just stand back and wait for something interesting to happen rather than trying to force it. So there's Atari. You know, is there a simpler way? Like, if you come over here, I guess it's because of the inside, perhaps. But it's fine, because the stone's about to get captured. So I could try and play over here, for instance. And then what? Yeah, white's almost dead on the inside. So if black fixes their shape, then white's probably in big trouble. Although it's not trivial to fix black shape because it's so bad. Like, it's not easy. So, okay, I play Atari from this side, and, you know, it's not so easy. Black has 4 liberties after this. But unfortunately, white is even weaker on the inside. So when it comes to fighting, you want to think about where the biggest weakness is, because that's where the action is. That's the most urgent point. And unfortunately, white's group is the most urgent point because it is incredibly weak after being cut. So we have an Atari, actually. I was hoping black would respond because maybe then I would have enough liberties to actually do something on the inside. But black doesn't give me a chance. I play here, and I make this cut and I extend. I think... No, can't do it right away. So black needs a little bit more time. But after that, yeah, doesn't work. So then the game ended. I'm clearly dead. If I'm going to die in a really big way like this and the game is over, white can't continue. So at this point, I resign. So that was a pretty fast game. That was really well done by AJ. I think he did the fighting relatively well, or he fought relatively well. I think the biggest issue is just pay attention to the liberties on your stones and pay attention to your shape. Just stay more connected. What made this work was that this shape in here was pretty strong, and so you could handle the fight. And that's only possible if your shape is strong first. So just focus on that. So here, where you're trying to strangle your opponent, or over here, this push as well, these are the moves that you want to be avoiding. So that's the first game, and we'll get on to the next one. So here, this immediately gets off to a bit of a weird start, where I play this Hane on the inside. Normally you don't see this, you know, you see this maybe as like a double-digit Q player, and then you stop seeing this eventually. Like, so maybe this bamboozles a little bit, but I've actually had a Don player play this against me once, so this is something that you can do. I think I immediately confused AJ. Just cut. Like, why second guess yourself? Like, there's two options now. You can do either from this direction or this direction. And, if you choose one, then okay, white lives in the corner, which, that's not bad for black. Does it live? I think it does live. It should be okay. Then the other one, if white responds over here, then black can just capture, either way. And then if white plays this way, then black turns, connects, and then can just capture right away or play here, and then it's not clear how white saves the corner. I guess white can extend. There would normally be this kind of a, I guess, yeah, like here, pushing, and then, but yeah, I don't think so. But like, the point is that the white is too thin. Like, you have two groups, and they have more liberties than white does. So just don't worry too much about it. So don't overthink it. Basically, just play the obvious moves, and it'll be okay. So here, this is bad because this is broken shape here. So you let white slice through. So that's not necessary, and that's good for white. So you extend. I had in mind to play over here and try and like capture the stone somehow, but I decided to play this way. But I'm not sure if that was really the best move because black then pushes from behind. I keep responding because I want to keep the group strong. But the issue is that black makes a lot of points in the corner, so that's pretty good for black, I think. So I Tanuki at this point, and then once again we get these armpit hits. I think that just responding over here is okay, but, okay, fine, not the worst thing in the world. I respond, but I would really recommend that if you're going to armpit hit, just follow up, just do it, because if you don't, then you get this Hane here, and then black is a little bit short on liberties, which isn't great. So this is what I would try and prevent. Black can respond over here, and I mean, black did respond, and I played this Nobi, and then black played the bamboo joint, but instead, just ascending here is fine, because it's not actually easy. Like, white can't actually easily capture that stone. So white might just leave that alone and just like make shape like this or something like that. So yeah, white comes out, black does as well. White does this double Hane, but black plays this push, but then pushes again here. So I think it's quite interesting because this shape is actually a common life and death problem. So if you do lots and lots of problems, which I'm doing at the moment, this is actually a very common one that you'll see. So yeah, okay, so this is an interesting one to know. And once again, you can see here that there are like 3 liberties, so it's running a bit short. There's this Atari and the descend, and then it's just already gone. Especially because this 18 and the descent to the first line. So that's always tricky when that happens. So instead, black can just solidify their shape, and then it's okay. So that's kind of the message here. Just solidify your shape, and you'll be okay. So now, black loses this, makes a push, plays over here, and then white Tanuki. And I think this is a good Tanuki because it's clear that black can't really capture this because both the groups are kind of strong already. So there's not much to do with this one stone. So that's good. I would say that coming back and capturing it isn't so big, but okay, fine. Now the groups are connected, so that's okay as well. Then here I play this double approach, and I can't remember what the Joseki here was, but I think this is okay. And then here I think that I shouldn't have played this because it's too easy to try and put white into the corner and then eat the outside stones. At the same time, I don't think I can really save the inside stones, so I guess maybe I can try something like this instead, but I think it's too easy to surround me if I play here. So yeah, that's quite good for black. And I say here that I'm not happy with losing these stones. Black pushes and jumps, but I don't know, just keep pushing. What's wrong? Because here, this Hane at the head of 3, so it seems okay for black. If white plays, then you can even like double Hane, so no big deal. So here, this shape isn't quite so good, but not so bad either. And then white lives, and then black plays over here. So the reason why I make this cut is, once again, rule of 5. So we have 3 stones on this, 3 liberties in this group. And yeah, you see that I'm going to aim for the cut later. So I play over here, and I come over here for a double, what do you call it? The reapproach or the pincer. And then here, white lives in the corner. But yeah, I guess it's fine. This group has 5 liberties, so there's not in trouble. Black jumps. And here, this Tsuji, where you clamp here, this is very useful to know, because then it's easy to press black down. So that's a good one to know. And then I Tanuki. And then I go for this cut. So the issue here, just play on the outside. Because if you play on the outside, you'll just be strong. Like, I mean, I guess I don't want to connect here, but it seems necessary, unfortunately. The point is that if you play on the other side, now pay attention, that you have 2 liberties again. So I can make 2 pushes and turn, and that's not the end of the story. So here you do this jump to try and cut white off. You know, okay. I think from here, you can just play this shape instead. And if white cuts, then you can play this turn. And now this group is own liberties. And then if white tries to steal everything, then you can just live in the corner, probably. You know, you'd imagine this will be okay. So I guess playing this extension here wasn't good, because then I can cut. And then you can even tell that I'm doing my life and death, because I do this throw-in, which is that's also like a Tsuji. So that's good. And then I play here. And so you can see how I was able to like reduce this shape down quite a lot because of how black removed their own liberties over here. So just be more aware of your liberties, I would say, because then it reveals when the shape is becoming weaker like this. I think the other thing as well is, yeah, here you make an eye, but I guess like you don't see the ko. That's also something that you'll see more if you do more life and death problems. So by life and death problems, I mean doing like Weiqi 101 life and death, that kind of thing, puzzle rush kind of stuff. I'm not this player, AJ. He tends to do a lot of essential Tsumego, which are life and death problems that are so complicated that you should memorize them. And essential Tsumego are good knowledge to have, but that doesn't mean that you're good at reading, because here you'll miss that there's this throw in here, and that starts the ko. Starts the ko eventually. I do all this cutting before I start it. Now I start it because I finally have enough liberties that I don't die right away. But this is something that you'll know about if you do simpler life and death problems. So not the really complicated ones, but things where you have to read it out and then you have to be able to see things like this. So just extending over here is fine, because that makes an eye in the corner. There's another eye here, and this doesn't work, so this just lives. So you kind of miss that, and I was able to get the vital point. So, but you can see that there are like multiple mistakes that are made here, where the liberty is shorted over here, didn't quite get the connection on this side, and then I can play the ko. So, okay, we have the ko. Let me fast forward a bit, and I play a ko threat, and there's this connection. Luckily, it's not such a good ko for white, because it's a step ko. I can't connect here, and maybe I can throw in over here, but then yeah, but the issue with doing the ko is that there's a risk on this side as well, so I wouldn't. It's not so great for white, I think. So here the issue is that this ko threat is way too small. So here, this is just 1 stone. There's no way I'm going to respond to that. You want to have, for ko threats, you want moves that are as big as what you're seeing here. So that means it has to be a big threat. We're talking like, you try and kill the corner. This is unfortunately such a heavy ko that you might not be able to do it. So it would be fine. It's just, if you play these really small, if you're like, yeah, I threatened to capture a single stone in exchange, or like 3 stones in exchange for this entire group, that's not nearly enough. So, okay, and then I'm able to follow up over here as well, because this ko threat required, or I guess, wait, what was it? Yeah, there was a ko threat, responded, and then, yeah, I responded, but then if you had just continued here, then you could save this group. But I think it's bigger, actually. So yeah, that's fair enough. And then here I short my liberties a bit, and you'll see why there's a problem in a moment. We do a little bit of end game. I'm just trying to end the game. We have a guy who's looking on and who's commenting, so he's distracting me a little bit. I shouldn't blame the onlooker, but I start taking the game a little bit for granted, and then I have this position, and then I blunder, and I play over here. The reason why it's a blunder is because this Atari is short on liberties. So I also need to consider the rule of the 5 and just play over here. And there's nothing that I think that can be done at this point. Is there an issue? Like here, there's this, but at the same time, yeah. Oh, that's bad. Don't do that. So let's see. So here, yeah, don't play this one. Maybe play something like this instead. Yeah. Maybe don't do the throw-in. What happens then? Yeah, okay. So if I just play here, that's enough to make to live. So it's not that white should die, but at the same time, I'm actually still, if I get the sequence correct, I'm only ahead by 1 point. I apparently shouldn't play over here, because basically what black can do is he can try to play over here and basically get this Atari, and this removes this endgame. So the idea is that white wants to play over here. But still, this is very small. I was saying to AJ that he was saying, like, I need to do more endgame. And I said, no, why? Like, how many games is decided, or do you play that's decided by endgame? For me, this game was decided by endgame. So, okay, fine. That's fun. But yeah, from there, the game is basically over. I make this blunder, and then I'm way behind, and then the game is over. So with this win, AJ goes up to 8 stones, which is great. So yeah, I hope that we have fun at that range, and yeah, that he continues to improve. And yeah, he's doing great. And I think like you should look at these couple of games and realize like just play strong shapes and keep white separated, and when there's weakness, go for it, and then you'll make it. So I have every faith that he'll do well at 8 stones, and yeah, you'll get to see how that story continues. So I'll move on to Horace's game now. All right, so we have the game against Horace now, and let's take a look at it. So once again, I start by attaching here. I guess what I would say quickly is just, once again, just play normally, or not normally, but like you can take the side, but just play, make sure that you start with a simple enough opening so that you can handle it. So here I try and make a position, and what I consider is to try and play over here, but then I felt that like this is too low, so I didn't like that, so I jumped out, and I connected over here, and then black tried to cut. And so what's important is here there's this Joseki. The Joseki was 1, 2, 3, 4. And the idea is that black can't connect underneath this way because of the stone at 05. So if white plays this Hane, then they're able to cut through, and then they have this tiger's mouth. So that's great. And if the tiger's mouth isn't there, then black can cut and capture the stone. So that means that if black plays this attachment and this stone is not there, then they're connected. So that's just a very basic shape. That's good to know. And so the idea is the same here. This Hane doesn't work for the same reason. So I wanted really badly to wedge here, but unfortunately it doesn't work, so I can't do that. And here I take the corner, but here black is pretty strong on the outside, so despite it all, this seems like an okay result. I make this invasion over here and black kicks, but you can also think about making this attachment as well, because after white makes some kind of shape, then also black is a little bit bigger in the center, but kicking and extending is perfectly fine as well, so I think that's really good. That's something that I'm not sure you would have played before, so that's nice. And then I approach on this side, but I think I would definitely attach over here because then these 2 stones definitely get weaker. So yeah, something to consider. Like, this is a move that used to be considered bad because attaching to your opponent makes them stronger, and so the idea was you shouldn't do it. But the AI showed us that this is perfectly reasonable, and indeed, humans were playing in this very way, despite it feeling very vulgar. Like, professionals would tell us not to play this, but now it's perfectly fine. So yeah, this is okay. So we kick and we extend, and here I guess what I don't like about this for black is that now black is surrounded. This isn't like horribly surrounded. Black is not in any real danger, but this is once again like step 1. Like this is already a little bit not suspicious, but I guess black also feels this a little bit, and then they defend the group, which is okay, and then they jump out, and then I peep, and then I make this exchange because I feel this group is thin. And then I invest 1 stone too many. So I have to be very careful as white not to take Gote. So here, I should try and block black from getting into the center, keep them disconnected, keep the fight going. But I don't, and then black connects. And then here I get this exchange, trying to make myself stronger. I guess this is Ajikeshi. I don't really gain much from using the Aji in this way, so Ajikeshi means that you're wasting the Aji, basically. You're wasting the taste. So, yeah, I shouldn't do that. And then here, black ignores me. I don't think that black really needs to ignore. Just Hane on this side, and then this A group is very, very weak. So here, black plays away, and then I get this Hane, and then I connect, and I get this Atari, and then they play away again. So what I would say is don't, like here, remember the rule of 5. We have one stone here, which has 2 liberties, and meanwhile, this has, 8 liberties. Like, this is like, it's strongly connected. Black is out into the center. There's nothing to worry about. So if this is, so here, I mean, what, this way, and then here, but respond. So just connect. Like, what's the danger? You're still connected to the rest of your stones. There's no, I mean, here, okay, maybe there's a little bit something, but eventually black will be able to connect up, so it's no big deal. And remember, white is the one who's weak on the inside. So I think like in this game, Horace was doing well in the sense that he was keeping his group strong enough for a 7-stone game, but these aren't the good habits to have necessarily. So I get this Panuki, and I remember when I took it, I was like, Panuki in the center? Are you really going to give this to me? And yeah, but then on the other hand, one thing that we discussed after the game was like, okay, white has Panuki in the center, and 2 black's credit, and then what? White is surrounded, actually. So it's actually, despite having the Panuki, white is actually not in great shape. Black focuses on their territory, and the idea, once again, is that if black tries to take territory in a handicap game, I'll try and give it to them. And what I'm doing by doing this is putting pressure on black while defending my shape. So this is the idea. So black makes this kick, but I don't like this because I make this point over here, and then I descend, and then this group is kind of in trouble. But not, because if you remember the shape, white won't be able to cut through this. So, or like, what was it? I mean, I guess like this, but no way. It's fine. And then here, but black will be okay. Black will have more liberties, I think. So, yeah. So that's, but here, black comes through this way. I think it's perhaps like a slight overplay because this group is already not in great shape, and now you're going to try and make the cut. But on the other hand, white stones over here are also weak, so this is a good try, I think. And then, yeah, so I'm able to, so black connects out, and then here I go for the ko. So I guess it's like, could black prevent a ko? And the answer is probably, but then black doesn't play the ko and white connects. But once again, to Horace's credit, this is pretty, small life. It's good for white, but, the game is still afoot, basically. So one thing that I want to show is just play this Hane. Like, if you kick, then the follow-up, like when you're kicking, this is the move that you're threatening to play, so play the move that you're threatening to play. You don't have to come on the other side here, because then it's not that you lose the advantage, but it's slightly like you kick white, they get their 5 liberties, whereas they didn't have to get that. And, that's, you have to press white down and then keep building in the center, so that's nice. Let's see, what else? So here I think my issue is that I'm trying to get both sides at once, and then you split me, which is very, very good, because imagine you play something else and I can try and connect together. So yeah, you split me. That's very good. And now I have this problem where I have 2 groups, which isn't wonderful. You connect on up. You're connected. Here I did a little bit of a, I don't know if it's really good, but I try this, try and like disconnect black. And here I play Satari. I'm not sure if black really has to respond to it. I'm not sure if it's really big enough. Like, I don't know, is this so bad? But, actually maybe it is. So, maybe good enough to respond. And then I make the cut. But here, I like, once again, I think you're giving this up too fast. Because here, if you connect, what happens then? So I guess you can play here. And then net, but you can't net because of the cut here. So, okay, then white needs to take care of this stone. And then you can just push out. And then you're connected. So I don't think black needed to give up these stones so soon, but okay, black does it. But to be fair, once again, it's not enough for white to win. So black pushes, and what I'd say here is you don't have to strangle white. Just keep playing around them. Just keep the shape strong, and white will die on their own. So here, so I just, like, once again, like, take care. Like, we have a broken shape over here, and we have another... Was there another broken shape? Yeah, if I play over here, then that's another broken shape. So you get the feeling that you're playing way too close. You don't have to remove all the liberties. Imagine like in calculus, where you have like the limit as n goes to infinity. And in Go, the limit as n goes to infinity means that all the liberties get filled up. So you don't have to fill the liberties explicitly. You can just let that happen on its own as people play. Or just both players declare that the group is dead. So just play stronger shape here, and then white will just die. But indeed, even with making these mistakes, you know, it's too difficult to break through this, and so this group is dead. And already, white didn't have enough points to succeed. I think I counted at this point, and black had like 70 points, and white didn't have enough. So yeah, I resigned this game at this point, and that's basically the end of the game. So yeah, this is well done by Horace. I think he still has some of his bad habits in this game, but if I keep highlighting them, then maybe, you know, he'll have an opportunity to do things differently. But on the other hand, it's good for Horace to win games because it can make him more confident. And when he's more confident, then he'll be able to fight against me better. So not that he did so badly in this game. He did pretty well. So he deserved the win. You know, good job. So yeah, that's all the reviews from... We played a lot at the club. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to next week. And yeah, if you enjoy this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I have a forum down below if you want to submit game reviews. It's a Google form. I should be collecting emails apparently based on what I read, but I'm not doing that at the moment, so you have fun with that while that lasts. And I'll see you in the next video.